CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, the Chicken is here. Welcome back to another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we have your season 61 sneak peek, and this season is absolutely wild. This is crazy. If we thought we couldn't, they couldn't top their last few seasons with the different stuff and the new things, this is kind of an interesting take on all of the new stuff that they've added, and I think, you know, I think this is going to work, and I think it's very interesting. And I'm very excited to see how the metas and everything are going to develop. So, in this video, we're going to go over the tech tree. We're going to go over all of the deck layouts. I have those loaded up. We're going to go over them. We're going to talk about each and every single one of them. And we're going to go over, we're going to go over everything that you guys need to know about Season 61, chest rank values, and all that good stuff. So, you guys want to stay up to date on everything Boom Beach Warships, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Big shout out to those of you using the code CHICKEN in the shop. I do appreciate you. And let's get into the video. So, starting out at 2 ERs. Now, 2 ERs is interesting because they have the one little link right here between the base, and we've got holes on either side of that. Now, most of us don't spend too much time in 2 ER, so I don't want to talk about this layout too much, but it is an interesting layout. I'll give them that. Now, let's go through the entire tech tree. So, what we'll do is we'll walk through the whole tech tree, then we'll go over the full stats. But I want to show you guys the tech tree because it's just crazy right out of the gate. So, here's what we're working with. We got, right out of the gates, we got Zookas, shock mines, machine guns, and mortars unlocked. We've got heavies right after that, with a potential for a heavy boost later on the tech tree. Early shock bombs, which is great. Early riflemen, which is nice. You'll see here, after the update, we talked about this in the sneak peek video, they have these little icons. So you see the hammer, that means that it's a defensive building that we already have, that we're able to add more of. And we'll go over the next icons as we see them. So as we get to 3 ERs, I mean, we can get there pretty well just by upgrading heavies and mortars and that kind of thing. And if we can upgrade shock bombs, whatever, we can get to 3 ERs fairly easily. So once we get to 3 ERs, we've got a few different options. Now, you notice there's no flare yet. Flares come right after here, so a little bit into 3 ER. And we also have brick early on. We've got troop damage early on. Heavy rush looks fairly strong, like right out of the gates. I mean, other than these shock mines, there's nothing really to stop them. And at the same time, we don't have a gunboat ability early on to deal with the shock mines. We got regular mines, cannons, brick. We are forced to take a key vacuum right out of the gates, medics, that we're probably not going to be using ever. And we have tanks down here with the option for a troop boost. Now we see this multi-node in front of the medics. That is our first troop boost. So we can boost the heavies right away, which I would definitely recommend doing if we're going to be heavy rushing. We can skip the Cryoneers, go to flare, grab the flamethrowers. We got a level 2 Doom Cannon, which is actually a pretty strong prototype for 3 ERs. Typically, we don't see level 2s until, 4 or 5. So I think most people are probably going to pick that up. Then once we go into 4, and in terms of stats, we don't have any stats other than potentially troop damage right here at 3. So getting the troop health at 4 is probably going to be really important because even if we're heavy rushing with the boost, they're probably going to be fizzling to an extent. So right after 4, we get another multi-node of defenses, kind of a hodgepodge, cannon, mortar, or 7 shock mines. Definitely interesting. Again, with no way to deal with the shock mines, I'm kind of leaning towards the shock mines early on, then maybe swapping it to cannons maybe towards the end of the season. We have hidden warriors on this tree with the ability for them to be boosted. We've also got another level 2 prototype over here. Now at this point, I don't know how strong hidden warriors are going to be. Typically warriors are good for 3 ERs, 4 ERs. Sometimes they can get up to 5 ERs if it's a really offensive season with only 50 troop damage, 50 troop health, and no gunboat energy, and no smoke. Well, I guess the hidden warriors, they don't need smoke, but we do have shock bombs, so they could, they could be a thing. If you want to get Everspark with them, you got to go through Grins. I don't think many people are going to take that path. So I think what makes sense for most people is probably skip through here to 4. But DBD, we got shock launchers over here. Those are going to be good as well. We've got critter launchers super early on this season. Now, critter launchers, after they got nerfed a while back, way before this update, like 6 months ago, or whatever it was, I forget. They're not as deadly, so it's not like, oh my god, there's critter launchers early on, they're going to ruin the whole season. It's not that bad anymore, so I'm hoping that they're not going to play too much of an impact. We've got Kavan and Building Health over here. That's two pretty solid pickups. Hard to go wrong there. We are forced to go down this path. So Boom Mines, Laser Rangers, Boom Cannons, and then into an extra building. So as we can see here with the hammer, we can see the extra building. And by the prototypes, it shows us like the extra kind of laser cannon looking thing. I don't know what that's really a picture of. It looks like a sick looking boom cannon almost, which represents the prototype node. So I really like the little change there that they did with that, just so you don't have to constantly go over like, what is this again? But yeah, so this is a pretty weak multi-node, and then we got mechs on the dead end node, which is great. Throw those guys to the side. Then we got our next troop health over here, followed by another mine multi-node. So we can get a lot of mines this season, so just to keep that in mind. We got Barrage and Gunboat Energy by themselves. Then this is where things get crazy. This is wild. We've never seen this before, so let's take a look. So 6 ER, 110 keys. Look at this, guys. I'm just going to scan over this quickly. That's 7 ER, okay? There's 4 rows. All of these rows are past 7 ER. And you don't have to go to 7 to get them. That's how crazy this is. So look at this. So we can go all the way down here. We've got stat nodes are starting to come into play. They're at 30%. So I like what they've done with the stat nodes this season. We'll see that there's a couple of them here. We can easily go find them and pick them out. A few of them, actually. And even a potential negative node. But I like how they've done them. They put them at the end of the tech tree so it doesn't mess up the whole season. And it gives you the ability to kind of really tweak and configure your tech tree to exactly your playstyle towards the very end. And I don't think it's so overwhelming where it's like you can go 300% troop damage and 0 building damage, or the opposite, 300 building health and no troop damage at all. Like, I feel like with this season, they've really adjusted a little bit into trying to balance that, but still giving us the option to be able to customize stuff. So on paper, it looks cool. Will I be cursing it 3 weeks into the season? Probably. Probably if you watch the channel. I apologize in advance. But yeah, so let's take a look here. So after 6 at 110 keys, we get our first multi-stat node, building health, troop damage. We have smokes that are going to be actually required to pick up. We got our next prototype, so we're starting at some level 3, some big heavy hitters. We got the Sky Shield. We have second wind. We've got a remote defib on its own, so that kind of devalues the need of Kavan, but building health is in front of Kavan, so probably going to be a pretty good pickup. So at this point, after we go to the Sky Shield here, which I assume most people will pick, we have the option. Are we going ahead and getting all the stat nodes first? So we've got, well, that's a penalty node, but we got a troop boost, we got Scorchers, we got Critters, we got Bullet, we got building health. I think what makes the most sense is get the building health, skip all these 4, go Bombers, troop damage, remote defib, another building health. Now we're into 7. But look at this, guys. We got heavy choppers after 7 on the snake trail, way down, way out of the way, super out of the way. And we got another troop boost. This one is, well, unless you're using Seekers, it's useless. We got heavy chopper troop boost before heavy choppers, so probably go Bombardiers, and then, well, we might keep it a Bombardier, I don't know. And then we got another stat node, we got DBD, and we got all the good stuff way back here. Another level 3 prototype, so it's going to be super interesting, guys. I'm very excited for this. So let's go over the deck layouts next. So obviously we've seen 2 ER. 3 ER is right here like this. Now this looks like, to me, this looks like Heavy Rush is just written all over it. And, you know, it's a corner base. I mean, 3R metas are mostly the same. But since we do have, if we take a look at the 3-engine, you know, tech tree, we've got heavies, we've got shock bombs, we've got mines. It's going to be the same. What's going to happen is it's going to be heavy rush early on, then it's going to turn into the meat grinder, and you want to be in 4ER by that point. So let's look at 4ER. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Zedmod. He did send me this image for all intensive purposes. So just to make that very, very clear. Yeah, so we've got, what do we got here? So 4ER, things look a little bit different. We've got kind of some sidewinders, we got a hole in the middle. This looks like it could get pretty dirty pretty quickly. So the troops we're going to be using at 4, if we take that down. So in between here, we've got heavies available. And I mean, that's pretty much it, unless we're using heavy Zuka and brick. Like, we're going to have the option to stack up and clear. But, you know, we've got to pick up something else, because we can't just heavy rush into 5, you know, into 6. That's going to be very interesting, what we're going to be using there in terms of troops. It might be rocket choppers, honestly, because after rocket choppers, we got DBD and shock launchers, so we're going to have to get them anyways. So yeah, be prepared for that. Sorry, I'm scrolling really fast, but I want to see where the boom cannons are. Where are the boom cannons? Boom cannons are after. So I think getting to RCs first. Honestly, Seekers are super early this season too. We do have shock mines. We don't have shock launchers for them, but they have shock bombs. So that's going to be super interesting. That's going to be super interesting to see what happens there. So there's 4ER. 5ER, a little bit more of an open deck. We've got kind of that interesting snake trail around the top. Typically, these gap bases are very good for rocket choppers again. So I think that's probably where the early meta is probably going to shift towards, because there's a lot of space to go over top. And like, if you're heavy rushing all around that, I don't really see a way where, you know, that's going to be done really, really quickly. So there's 5ER. 6ER is kind of the same as 5, just a little bit bigger. Now, by the time we get to 6, you know, by the time we get to 6, the world is our oyster. I mean, we can go a number of different, we can get everything in the tech tree pretty well at 6ER. So going 7 early might be bad. So let's look at the 7ER deck. 7ER deck looks way easier than the 6ER, just because it's way more spread out. It's a lot easier to hit both sides at the same time. 6ER kind of funnels you. So I'm thinking getting 6 with all the goodies might actually be better than going 7, at least early on. So anyways, guys, that is the sneak peek. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to let me know down below what you think of the season, your thoughts, your opinions. What do you think's good? What do you think's bad? We did not go over the season stats, chicken. Save it for the very end. That's Squad Busters. This is the one. So season 61 stats. Now, these are with all of your custom nodes tailored towards building health, which I feel like typically is what people do. So 100 troop damage, 100 troop health, 100 DBD, and 220 building health, and 50 gunboat energy. Is that right? 50 GB? There's only the one gunboat energy node? Yeah, I didn't see a lot of them. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stat nodes, so it's tough to go over the stats. It's like, it's a max, you know, 220 at 3 different nodes this season, so it's kind of up to the player, but just to give you guys a rough idea of what I think people will be running towards the end. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Catch you next one, guys. Check it out. Back.